tell us about Olceri and where to find us on the website.
Olceri.org, olceri.org, or on Facebook, also Olceri.
That stands for what?
Oglala Lakota Cultural Economic Revitalization Initiative.
People can come visit you when?
We've got a couple of things going on this year that's open to the public. I mean, we have projects that run pretty much year-round, and people can come anytime. Just make contact with us and let us know. They can also come during the Convergence or the PDC. The Convergence is this kind of a celebration at the end of the year on harvest season, and then we go out to our other sites and you can kind of see what's around the reservation. And then prior to that, we do a PDC training, permaculture design course, where we do permaculture design trainings, and
great.
That's it.
Hey, we're here in the greenhouse of my friend at Olceri. A walipini greenhouse that is carbon neutral, and the future, if we all get our act together and grow food instead of just breaking the planet in 2 seconds flat. Look what is possible, my friends. A world of tires being reused to create a shelter in the earth that then is warmed by the sun, and because it's in the earth, it's more temperature stable. It's a tongue twister.
This particular building is called a walipini. It's built in the earthship style. If you look at the double hip up here, this is for kind of a higher thermal gain. This is oriented to the south. I think it's 3 degrees east by south, mostly true south, and that's so that you get the maximum solar gain from the solstices. And these things are measured out for your longitude and latitude, and then line of demarcation from the sun to how it hits here at 2 different points in summer and winter solstice. This particular building is a year-round growing system. It's a solar collector, and when you move into the winter months, the sun moves further to the south, so you get a lot more penetration. During the summer, the sun moves further up in the horizon, so if you look at the roof line, the sun hits a little bit behind it, and then the shade carries across, so you don't get a lot of extra thermal gain, and it gets too hot you just have direct sunlight in the morning and in the evening. These are to maintain that 80 degree-ish temperatures, 80 to 90 degrees. We try to stay around 85 degrees. And then we've got a nursery on the front where we do most of our plant starts. Right now it's tarped up because the other day we had too much direct sunlight. So we're putting in a roll tarp on it so we can control how much solar gain we get in the greenhouse.
Okay.
If you look over to your right, there's a tank buried in the ground 8 feet deep. And eventually this will be plumbed into the walipini, and it'll be full of fish. We need to put a liner in here yet, and then finish the plumbing into the walipini. We've pre-prepped all of this stuff. As we've got extreme weather conditions here, we can go from 120 degrees in the summer to negative 50 in the winter.
Okay.
And the idea behind the food system is to create a pairing of these technologies so that we can get the most protected growth season. We can basically extend the entire year into a year-round growing system. If you pan to your right, you'll see the thermal collector which is this double shelved tire wall. And you can see right now the shade line is running right to these tables. So this is cooler back here. It's 70 degrees back here where these plants are. And up on this side, it's probably around 80 to 85 in the direct sunlight. Eventually these half barrels will become an aquaponics system, which will be fed from the tank up front. And the idea is a closed loop system. We have fish pooping in the water, which is fertilizing the plants. The water is pumping through the aquaponics beds, cleaning the water, and sending it back to the fish. And so then we have a protein, plus we have our roughage growing in here. This later on in the season is moved into the high value crops like peppers and tomatoes and things like that. Things that need a little bit more sheltering. That's something you want to produce for the most of the year for your table. So these are expensive spaces to keep. Now, this building cost somewhere around $4,000 to build. Most of it was the covers on it. But we do have our own sawmill here on Old Series, so we're able to produce mostly all of this.
Pretty cool.
This project came from a request by elders to come up with, back in 2000 there was a series of tornadoes happened across the reservation, and I had requests from elders for a cheaper storm shelter, and then along with our food projects with the gardens and permaculture stuff, we needed to come up with a way to store food and have livable buildings that can stand up to climate change. So we put this together with the Earthship style tires we're doing, and engineers, the Army Corps of Engineers brought a bunch of logs in, and then we ran them across the sawmill and came up with this root cellar. And I think it turned out pretty good. Construction on this was the open top tires and then using a Vibra-Temp to tamp them and set them. The flooring is cordwood design, 4-inch chunks of cedar and white pine, and then they put in a turtle on the floor. And when the colors aren't as vibrant yet, we've got to finish sanding it off and do the finish on the flooring, but we still have to plaster. We're gonna still make a bit of a mess, but if you look right behind you, if you pan over there, you'll see where we're using garbage in the voids of the tires. That's the pre-stuff to save material. So when we plaster this off, that'll fill the voids. The use of the tires here on Pine Ridge, materials are hard to come by. There's very little economy here, and but there's lots of tires. There's a lot of dumping goes on the reservation from the surrounding towns and things, so very readily available resource. So we came up with a little different method to construct with these, and then we've been building buildings and retaining walls and all types of things. This particular building here, total was $400 prior to the concrete. The concrete was another $200, and we just, below these tires is a set of other tires, and then we just capped them for a little better walking surface coming down.
Gotcha.
This will eventually be finished out in papercrete and be draped off with chicken wire, and then you won't really see the tire construction. So this building is a demonstration of rocket stove technology and a few different building styles. This particular one is preset for, because we go through and we fit all these cut off pieces of firewood basically. This is all cedar, and we have one wall that's pretty much finished in there, and I'll show you that in a second. These are different building styles and methods, so this building does a lot of those things. We've got one more finish coat to put on this, and it's very hard materials, same as this stove. This stove was built by Jim Shawless out of Omaha, Nebraska. Fantastic builder, natural builder. It's actually two stoves, and one is a warming bench where you have a small fire goes in here, and then the heat distributes throughout the bench.
Does it work?
Fantastic.
Amazing. So it spreads the heat, small fire, and then what?
It runs all the way to here. This
Can you
is
actually cook on these?
Yeah, this is a separate stove here.
Okay.
The firebox is on this other side. And the fire rolls directly over the pans.
Amazing.
And just a small handful of wood will completely boil this. This stove is amazing. You can lay your hand right next to it like this. It'll be boiling here, but still safe to touch right here.
Wow, amazing.
And then
what is this material? Cob? Clay?
yeah, this is all local clay. And then it's basically a 3-2-1 formula. 3 parts aggregate, 2 parts, actually 5 parts aggregate, so sand, and then 1 part clay. And all these colors are natural to this area except the black. And he made it on site, and I think he used like rust or something like that to make the black.
Amazing.
And this one is for frying pans, much shallower, and just amazing stuff you can do with these stoves.
Okay.
If you look at the floor, we had a local artist, Joaquin Chief, did this layout, and we haven't put the finish coating on it. We'll finish it this summer, and then maybe you can come back and take some better pictures when it's all done. But
Shaped like a raven or something?
yeah, this is actually a hawk, and you're standing about on the head, but you can't see it because the couch and the carpet things are. And this is the tail feathers here. It's a really, really cool design, and this is all just urban. This is stuff you find at the dump, and by the time we get finished, it'll be all leveled out and be a beautiful floor. Yeah, this is our shade arbor here. We do a lot of presentations. The artwork is our logo. This building was a very simple. We designed it for a shade, and it taps into the geothermal a bit, so it usually stays 10 to 15 degrees cooler in here than the outside ambient temperature. Under your feet there's a gravel pack that's about 1 foot thick, and we can super saturate it with water and still walk over it. And this was done all with lumber off our sawmill. And we just needed shade one day, so.
Now it's the Permaculture's kitchen?
Yeah, they call it the turtle kitchen.
El Siri has a big vision, looking to create food hubs all over Pine Ridge to feed the people, and to also build 1,000 earthships throughout Pine Ridge to provide generational housing for the people who live here. So it all starts here on Brian's ranch, and we have the gardens and the high tunnels being built, and the first earthship. Been hosting indigenous wisdom and permaculture convergences for the past couple years, bringing people in here, infusing this with energy, building relationships, and prototyping what could be a really beautiful future out here on Pine Ridge.